Everyone, this is Nurse Dre at your service, and this video we're going to talk about A to G assessment. So A to G assessment is a head-to-toe assessment used to evaluate or assess your patient condition. So this is a head-to-toe assessment including the glucose level of the patient. So what is the purpose of A to G assessment? This is to ensure that you are doing an assessment to a patient and giving a proper and safe intervention for your patient. This is a thorough examination from head to toe of the patient, including their glucose level. So if, for example, that your patient came conscious, coherent, and oriented, and the patient came because of cold clammy skin and known case of diabetic and hypertensive, so you can check first for the airway. If the patient is airway is okay, then you have to check immediately the glucose level of the patient, so at least you can give proper treatment of the patient or immediate treatment of the patient. But since for the purpose of A to G assessment, we're going to start with the airway. When we say airway, you have to check for the airway of the patient. How you are going to check for the airway of the patient? First, you have to ask the patient if she or he is able to cough. You can ask like, can you cough? Are you able to cough? When the patient is able to cough, means that the airway is patent and there's no obstruction. But if the patient is trying to clutching his neck, or like he or she is not able to cough, it means there's an obstruction. You ask the patient to open their mouth like that. If the foreign body if you are able to see the foreign body, then you can easily remove it. But if the foreign body is you are unable to reach, or you are unable to see the foreign body, don't try to remove it. All right, so there are two types of maneuver that you can use in checking the airway. If your patient is suspected for the neck injury, for example, you find your patient lying on the floor, so it might, and there is nobody saw what happened to him or her, then you might consider that your patient is having a suspected neck injury. So in this situation, you can do the jaw thrust maneuver. And if your patient is not having any neck injury, then you can use the head tilt and the chin lift maneuver. So the next is then breathing. So if you're going to assess the patient from this side, you can see that if the patient is having difficulty starting from the face, you can see if the patient who is having difficulty of breathing, they will have nasal flaring. It's like this, okay? So you can easily see if they are having labored breathing or difficulty of breathing. And also you check also for the use of the accessory muscle here on the neck, the sternocleidomastoid muscles. So, and you check also for the use of the accessory muscle, and note also if there's a normal respiratory rate. And the normal respiratory rate for adult will be 12 to 20, and for the pedia it will be 30 to 40. And check for also for the breathing pattern of the patient. The term eupneic means the patient is so if the breathing pattern of the patient is less than 20 breaths per minute, it means the patient is bradypnea. It's slow. If the patient is also having more than 20 minutes like that, the patient is having tachypnea, which is more than 20 beats per minute. So there are also other breathing pattern like the Cosmos, which is like like that. So that is like deep labored breathing. And also we have the apnea, which is no breathing pattern. It's period of no breathing. And we also have the chain stroke pattern, which is like a period of going drop and then no breathing and then like this. All right, so that is the breathing pattern. The next is the circulation. Circulation doesn't mean only the blood pressure of the patient. It's include the vascular and the peripheral circulation. So blood pressure, you have to check the blood pressure, the heart rate, normal heart rate of the patient, and you include the capillary refill. How are you going to check the capillary refill? You have to check the capillary refill of the patient in the upper extremities and the lower extremities. So check it. If the capillary refill is less than 2 seconds, means it is normal, and if it is less than 2 seconds, it's normal. If it is more than 2 seconds or 4 seconds, it is not normal. That is bad, not normal capillary refill. So you have to check also the peripheries, the extremities. So means you have to check means the warm and the pink extreme, warm to touch and pinkish extremities. Pink and warm means good peripheral circulation, but if there is a blue, pale, and cold, it reflects that the patient is having poor peripheral circulation. So in disability, we focused in the reduce of consciousness, or the level of consciousness of the patient. We can use the GCS, or Glasgow Coma Scale. In this Glasgow Coma Scale, we are checking the level of consciousness through eye opening, verbal response, and motor response. So in eye opening, you can see spontaneously that the patient is opening the eyes, or you have to ask, can you open the eyes? That is response to speech, which is number 2, and so on. And also verbal response, if the patient knows orientation, do you know where you are, where are you, what is your name, what happened to you, and if the patient is going, where are you, that is the orientation of the patient. And if the motor response, if you ask the patient, can you raise your hand, like that, if the patient responds, then that is good motor response. So we also have the what we call AVPO, or now there is new one, which is ACVPU. So A means alert, C means confusion, and then voice, the patient is only responding to verbal stimuli, and then pain, only for pain stimuli. How are you going to check for the pain stimuli? You can put a pressure on here, the trapezius muscles, and also some are doing the here in the sternal, this area. And also U means unresponsive, so no response to verbal and painful stimuli. So exposure, when we say exposure, you have to check the assess the patient skin, or skin changes, or skin rashes, or if the patient, for example, is exposed to burn, like that, then you have to check for if there are presence of burn, presence of rashes, pressure injuries, sign of infection, bruises. Especially if the patient is having motor vehicular accident, then you can see bruises or some cut wounds instead. All right, and then fluids. In fluids, you have to check for the intake and output of the patient. How are you going to check? You ask the patient if she is able to, how many ml or how many glasses of water she already consumed, and also if she can tolerate it, and also that is also to check for the hydration of the patient. And also you can ask if the patient is having, if she can finish or she already take her meal. And for the output, you are going to check if the patient is already have taken, have opened their bowels, and also have, if they already pass urine, how many times. All right, and the last one is G, which means glucose. This is the sugar level, or the sugar level of your patient. So here in Oman, we have what we call rule of 15. So in the management of hypoglycemia, there is a rule 15. So first, if the sugar level of your patient is less than 3.9, then you have to give 15 grams of sugar, or you have to give the high absorbable sugars, like 1 tablespoon of honey, or 3 dates, big dates, or you can offer half glass of juice, or orange juice or lemonade. And then you have to wait for 15 minutes and check for recheck again for the sugar. And then if it is more than 3.9, then you can offer half sandwich or you can offer the meal of the patient. And then if it is more than 3.9, less than 3.9, you have to repeat again the management for the hypoglycemia that I have told you before. So that is the management. So after you can repeat for 3 times the management of this hypoglycemia, once the patient is still not, the sugar is still not going up, so you have to refer to the doctor or to the attending physician, or if you are at home, you have to take the patient immediately to the hospital. And then what is the so take home, it's already done. It is important for us to reassess the patient status, change if the status of the patient changes, and monitor the plan of care of the patient. So if for your patient to be safe and have a better treatment. All right, so do you have any questions, clarifications?